Okay, so ready to dive into something we all think about, our hair. More specifically, how what we eat, what we put into our bodies, actually impacts those strands.
Yeah.
And to guide us today on this little deep dive, we're going to be turning to Eat Right for Your Hair Type, an ebook by Jana Beckford of Untopical Insights.
This ebook is really interesting. It goes beyond, I think, typical diet advice.
Yeah.
And it connects hair health to, a faith-based perspective.
So taking you are what you eat to a whole new level.
Exactly.
I like it. So how does this ebook connect those dots? I mean, between our plates and our faith.
Well, for one, it draws these really fascinating parallels between like ancient dietary principles found in the Bible and then modern nutritional science.
Okay.
For example, the book of Leviticus,
Yeah.
often seen as like the rule book of the Old Testament. It actually includes guidelines on food combinations,
Oh, wow.
right? And guess what? Modern nutritionists are finding that certain food combinations can either like enhance or totally hinder nutrient absorption.
Really?
It's amazing how this ancient wisdom sort of aligns with what we're discovering today.
Yeah. That's a connection I never would have made. It's like these timeless principles were like offering these little nuggets of insight into healthy living all along.
Exactly. And the ebook really highlights that connection throughout, suggesting that caring for our hair, this incredible part of ourselves, can be an act of honoring God's design.
I like that. So it's about more than just aesthetics.
Yes.
It's about appreciating, caring for what we've been given.
Exactly. And that resonates even more, when you think about how central hair is to many cultures and faith as an expression of identity.
Even spirituality.
Right.
It's about recognizing that our outward appearance can be a reflection of our inner health and really our connection to something bigger than ourselves.
Wow. That adds like a whole new dimension to just, having a good hair day.
Right.
But before we get into like the practicalities of what to eat for this, I'm curious because I thought this was really fascinating. How does this ebook approach different hair types?
Yeah.
Because, we're not all rocking the same kind of hair.
Absolutely. And the ebook recognizes that, just as God created us all uniquely, our hair also boasts this beautiful diversity. And just like our own individual identities, our hair requires specific care.
Tailored to its unique features.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how the ebook dives into this concept of like tailored hair care, and it actually compares it to something Jesus did.
Okay, now that's interesting. I'm not sure I'm making the connection. How does Jesus tie into hair types?
Well, okay, so remember the miracle of feeding the 5,000.
Yeah.
Everyone's hungry, they have needs, right? But they all had unique needs.
Right.
It's not like Jesus just like whipped up one giant loaf of bread.
Right.
He provided nourishment that could be shared and enjoyed by all.
I see it. Okay.
Just as nature offers a bounty of food to nourish, each and every hair type.
Yeah. So it's about recognizing that diversity and then kind of finding what nourishes us individually, right? Like a more personalized approach to hair care, but guided by, those ancient principles we were talking about.
Exactly, yeah. And speaking of nourishment, the ebook really dives into, the specific nutrients that act as like building blocks for great hair, no matter your hair type.
Okay, so let's talk about those, like, hair heroes.
Yes.
What should we be loading up on?
So it emphasizes a holistic approach. Again, it brings together these biblical principles and that modern nutritional wisdom. And so, for instance, it talks about starting your day with a protein-rich breakfast,
Okay.
echoing that importance of, breaking your fast with nourishing foods.
So not just coffee and a donut then?
No. Think more like, eggs, Greek yogurt, maybe even like a smoothie with some protein powder.
Okay.
Maybe even sneak some spinach in there.
Okay, that sounds much more hair-friendly. What else is on this, like, hair-healthy menu?
Hydration is key.
Yes,
Well,
water,
yeah.
water.
The ebook really emphasizes that. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day. And it even compares our bodies to, like, the earth, Just as plants need water to thrive, our hair needs that hydration from the inside out.
Yeah, that's a beautiful analogy. And it makes perfect sense because, I think so often, at least for me, I'm so focused on what I'm putting on my hair, the products and all that.
Right.
But what we're putting into our bodies is, like, equally important.
Totally, if not more so. And it's interesting because, we're talking about those ancient dietary guidelines. A lot of those promote foods that have high water content naturally. So
Yeah.
fruits and vegetables,
Right.
aligning perfectly with that whole need for hydration.
It's like it all connects.
Right. It's amazing.
Okay, so we've got protein, hydration. What other, like, nutritional powerhouses are in this ebook? What else does it highlight?
I mean, we can't talk about hair without talking about biotin.
Right. Biotin is everywhere these days, so what does the ebook say about it?
It explains that biotin is a B vitamin, and it plays this key role in hair growth and strength. But here's the thing.
Okay.
You don't need to go crazy with the supplements.
Okay, good to know. So, like, how do we make sure we're getting enough then, naturally?
The ebook emphasizes a balanced diet.
Mm-hmm.
Think eggs, nuts, seeds, sweet potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
all great sources of biotin.
So it's more about nourishing your body with, like, a variety of whole foods rather than relying on a magic pill,
Exactly.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
That holistic approach.
Totally, yeah. And that holistic approach, it extends beyond, I think, just like individual nutrients. It also addresses like common health concerns that I think we can all relate to
Right.
that might affect our hair and how to approach those, again, from a faith-based perspective.
Health concerns impacting our hair. I mean, that's relatable, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know I've had my moments of, like, stress-induced, like, hair disasters.
Oh, yeah.
So how does this ebook tackle that, especially through this, like, faith-based lens?
It's interesting how it approaches these moments where our hair might be reflecting kind of deeper imbalances. So
Yeah.
it doesn't shy away from things like, hormonal shifts or thyroid issues,
Yeah.
even just the everyday stress.
Which honestly, yeah, can sometimes feel like a recipe for hair disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But the ebook suggests we look at these challenges, as opportunities. Like just as we might turn to prayer or meditation for spiritual strength, we can also turn to, the nourishment that God provides to support our physical bodies as well.
So looking for solutions in that same, like, framework.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So for example, for someone dealing with like hormonal imbalances,
Yeah.
which, can show up as hair thinning, dryness,
Yeah.
the ebook talks about omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay, so omega-3s, those are the good fats, right?
Yes.
I know those are supposed to be good for you, but I never really connected them specifically to hormone.
Ooh, they're vital. And the ebook suggests, incorporating more fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel,
Okay.
into our diets to kind of support that balance naturally.
So nourishing your body from the inside out, helping it find that equilibrium.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. What about, like, other common concerns like thyroid issues? I know those can have an impact on hair growth as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that, the ebook really emphasizes the importance of selenium.
Selenium.
Yeah, it's a trace mineral
Okay.
that often gets overlooked.
Okay, so selenium. Not one, like you hear about every day. What kind of foods have selenium?
Brazil nuts are a really good source, actually.
Yeah, okay.
And they're a great snack. Even just having a couple a day can give you a good amount. And, the ebook stresses that even those small dietary shifts, made consistently, can make a big difference over time.
Yeah, it's those little things.
Yeah, those daily choices
Yeah.
that add up.
Mm.
And that brings us back to that idea of honoring God's design, right? Because by choosing foods that nourish our bodies and address these common concerns, it's like we're partnering with that design for well-being.
It's not even about vanity. It's about really appreciating and caring for these amazing bodies that, we've been given.
Exactly, yeah. And, remembering back to the beginning, how we talked about the ebook celebrating the diversity of hair types.
Right.
Well, it actually goes on to offer specific advice for each hair type,
Mm-hmm.
while always bringing it back to those core principles of nourishment and honoring, that design.
I love that. It feels very, like, holistic and empowering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about chasing some, like, unattainable ideal. It's more about embracing our unique beauty and then supporting it with this, like, incredible bounty that God's given us.
Yeah, I love that. It's about making those daily choices, whether they're big or small, but with that sense of gratitude and intention.
This deep dive has truly changed, I think, the way I think about my hair.
Yeah,
And I have a feeling our listeners are going to feel the same way.
I hope so.
It's not just about what we put on it, but what we're putting into our bodies and how those choices reflect a deeper connection to, like, our faith and even just ourselves.
Yeah, beautifully said. It's about recognizing that true beauty radiates from within,
Mm-hmm.
and it all starts with nourishment. So body, mind, and spirit.
On that note, we're going to wrap up our deep dive into Eat Right for Your Hair Type. Hopefully this has sparked some new insights and maybe inspired you to kind of see that connection between your plate, your faith, and those luscious locks.
And remember, as you sit down to that next meal, consider it an act of worship and stewardship. Choose those foods that nourish you from the inside out and just allow your unique beauty to shine through.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.